Hello guys, Cam from footballboots.co.uk, and today we're doing something different on the channel. I'm going to be teaching you how to shoot the knuckleball free kick in our first tutorial. Hope you enjoy the video. So the knuckleball free kick is one of the most advanced techniques when it comes to shooting, and if performed correctly it can have serious swerve and movement, making it a nightmare for goalkeepers. Gareth Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo and many other professionals have mastered the technique, but what makes it so special? Well, the knuckle or dead ball effect is achieved by getting as little spin on the ball as possible, and by doing this disables the aerodynamics being able to flow past the ball in an even way, which causes the unpredictable movement we so often see. So to learn the knuckleball free kick, there's going to be three main factors that you need to consider to achieve the perfect strike. Step 1. What part of the foot should I use? Most commonly using the hardest bone in your foot, which sits across the laces and instep, is the best connection point for a knuckleball. You need to bend your foot and angle it about 45 degrees when striking the ball so you get a direct and clean hit. If you want you guys have come onto this video because you want to know more about how you're contacting the ball with what part of your foot. So for the first step, like I mentioned in the video, I'm actually using the hardest bone of my foot, which is crossed between your laces and your instep. And this is genuine because it's a natural position for me, it's more comfortable. And if you want to copy my way, then I highly suggest you angle your foot 45 degrees outwards, and this way you're going to be getting a nice clean hit on the ball. But however, some of you might want to use a different technique. For example, Luke in Pound Precision, he's actually using the side of his foot. Now personally, I don't really think it matters about where you're kicking the ball because it's more about the follow through and the contact area on the ball. So it's something that's comfortable for you, but if you do want to copy me and do my sort of technique, then it is going to be the hardest bone in your foot. For the benefit of this video, I will play a few more examples for you now so you can see in slow motion exactly where I'm connecting with my foot. Step 2. Where should I be striking the ball? You need to kick the ball dead centre or slightly below in order to achieve a knuckleball free kick. Failing to do so will result in a curve, topspin or backspin effect which will ruin the knuckleball. For beginners, I suggest using the valve or a logo on the ball to mark this area out. This way when approaching the ball you know exactly where you need to try and kick. Pointing your toes can also help because it reduces your chances of getting underneath the ball and creating a backspin effect. Right, so for step 2 of the knuckleball, it's actually going to be where you're contacting on the ball. Now, I've said in the video you need to be striking dead centre in the ball or slightly underneath, and there is a reason for this, and that is because you don't want to get backspin, you don't really want to get topspin, and you definitely don't want to get side spin because that's going to create a curl effect. So the reason we want to kick the ball in the middle or in the centre is because that's sort of the sweet spot area for striking the ball, and it's going to take the spin out of the football, which means it will have that knuckle effect, unpredictability, and it will swerve a lot. So if you're going to be kicking the ball side on, it's obviously going to curl whichever way you're kicking it. If you're getting underneath it, it's going to get backspin and fly over. And you can kick it slightly over and it will get topspin. Might be used to get it up and down over a wall really quickly. Gareth Bale does that a lot more, whereas Ronaldo goes more for a dead ball effect, and that's when it just swerves, moves, and it's completely unpredictable. So again, I'm going to show you some more examples in slow motion of where I'm contacting the ball, but I like to use sometimes a logo or especially a valve to put it where I'm aiming to kick, and that way it's just easier when you're running up, you've got something to focus on and you know where to hit. Now some people do say that kicking it on the valve gives you more shot power. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I honestly just use it because it's a good way of aiming where to kick the ball. But there is a slight durability issue with that, is it does actually kick the valve in. A couple of my footballs, they have got damage because of that. So maybe I'd use a logo instead. But overall, it doesn't matter what part of the ball you're kicking, just as long as you're kicking in the centre. Step 3. Finally, and most importantly, is the follow through. Unlike a power strike or a curve free kick, you want to keep your follow through minimal because this is how you actually take the spin out of the ball to create that knuckle effect. To do so, you need to use the momentum from striking the ball to plant your shooting foot into the ground straight away. I tend to bring my foot across my body before planting it, which is more comfortable and natural for me. I imagine it being like a quick punch of the ball, and if you follow these 3 steps correctly, you should end up with a solid knuckleball technique. So for the third and final step about the follow through, this is by far the most important and the one that is the most difficult to accomplish, but doing this will achieve a knuckleball free kick, and it does take an awful lot of practice, especially if you're not used to doing it.
Now my technique, I've done it for a couple of years now and it's sort of natural. I don't think about what I'm doing. But for new people, and I've tried to teach people and they've been at the Astral, they've asked me for tips, it's really difficult and it's easy to see how hard and unnatural it is to perform. So the motion that I'm doing is I'm kicking with my right foot, and as I kick, I'm using all that momentum that I've put into the kicking the ball hard, and I'm planting my foot straight away. It's swinging across my body and it's planting straight in the ground. That's what I'd recommend you aim for, but it really is difficult to do, especially if you've never tried it before or you're a beginner. So what I'd do straight away is I'd completely take out the shot power. I'd practice on the position of where you're kicking the ball and trying to get used to that sort of technique of getting your foot to the ground really quickly. It's almost a similar motion to when you're crossing the ball, because naturally your foot just goes straight to the ground, but obviously you don't want to be kicking the ball in the same way because it's going to float up and backspin. So sometimes I find the more power I actually put into my shot, the quicker my foot gets to the ground, because it just is a natural reaction, natural movement. But if you're a beginner, I'd suggest taking all the power out of your shot and just literally work on the technique. So I'm going to show you some more examples in slow motion from different angles, and honestly this step is the most important because this is what takes the spin out of the ball as well as kicking it in the right place. The knuckleball, it needs to be a quick jab, it needs to be a quick hit, and that is why you need to get your foot to the ground and away from that follow through as quick as possible. Now, this video obviously is a bit longer than the rest because for me this is the most important factor, and without it you can't really hit a knuckleball. Some people like to roll the ball and run onto it and hit it. Sometimes that helps because the ball's already moving forward, so you're more likely to get over it than under it. But honestly, with the follow through, it takes a lot of practice. You've got to be committed. I mean, I think it took me at least 6 months to start getting a tiny bit of consistency. I'm 2 and a bit years down the line now, and I'd like to think I'm pretty consistent, which is why we do our unedited free kick sessions. So honestly, the main thing you can do is just practice. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be committed to trying. And it can be quite difficult, especially if you're used to curving the ball or just shooting normally. It's really, really hard to get used to, but trust me, once you do, it's a lot easier and it will get better from there.
And there you have it. There is the knuckleball technique broken down into 3 simple steps for you to go off and learn. If you've got any questions about this technique, then leave them in the comment section below and I'll try and get back to them. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you did enjoy or find it helpful, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.